Welcome to the 912th meeting of the Board of Directors of MSAD number 27. Roll call, please.
Keith Johnro.
Here.
Shen Lugden.
Here.
Abby Fuller.
Here.
Dave Susie will not be here. Tanya was in.
Here.
Barry Sibley, not here, and Sarah Ashley. And our two student reps are here.
Do you have any adjustments to the agenda? Actually, first of all, public comment. Nobody signed up. We have no public here. Charlie, you want to talk?
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Do we have any adjustments? No adjustments. Approval of meeting minutes. Do we have a motion to approve meeting 9/10?
On the last page, I think, it says reducing the preliminary mill rate from XX to XX. Oh, I think it just, yeah, it was a placeholder, so.
Oh, yeah.
Good catch. Do we have a motion to approve? Abigail, second.
I'll second.
Tanya, any discussion? All in favor? Minutes are passed. Motion to approve the minutes of meeting 911 on May 9th.
I'll make a motion.
Tanya,
I can second.
seconded by Abigail. Any discussion? All in favor? Minutes approved. Minutes. Okay, approval of financial statements for April. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Sarah?
Second.
Seconded by Abigail. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? None opposed? Okay, items of business. Item I, retirement,
No retirements,
resignations,
resignations.
transfers.
We do have some transfers. First transfer, you should have a letter in your packet. This is for Rebecca Knowlton, who currently this year is, she's our pool testing coordinator for half of the day, and then a special education nurse for the other half of the day. We're still going to need the special education nurse portion, but we will not need the pool testing coordinator now that pool testing is done. Coincidentally, we had a health instructor position posted at the tech center for all Valley Unified schools. That's the half-time 8th grade health teacher. And Rebecca submitted her certification application to the DOE, and they have accepted it, and she submitted a letter of intent, and we have accepted that letter of intent. So she will remain an SAD 27 employee next year. Half of her contract will be assessed to Valley Unified for the 8th grade health, and then the other half to special ed nursing. Any questions on that one? I know it's a lot of moving parts there. The second one is we have two transfers, and this was last meeting I announced that we had transferred Heather Houston to a second grade classroom, and instead of replacing Heather with another intervention teacher, we were going to fill with two Ed Tech 3s. We posted in-house, and we have approved Bev Pelletier and Lisa Pelletier for those transfers to those positions. And then the last transfer, we have an intervention assistant here at CHS for literacy, working with Sylvia Dow-Harvey, who is the interventionist for that. And we have approved the transfer of Jessie Desjardins to that position. Those are the transfers we have.
Okay. New hires?
No new hires.
Is that out of order? Item B?
Oh, no, B is because all of these were items for information, A.
Okay.
So B is correct.
Okay, very good. Consider approving the superintendent's nominations for first-year probationary, second-year probationary teachers.
And just so that new board members understand what this is, whenever we hire a new teacher, they're hired under a 2-year probationary contract. So we have 2 years to find out if we want them to be a permanent teacher of the district. After the first year, you get a nomination for that first year probationary teacher to become a second-year probationary teacher. And you'll see those individuals listed on both Mr. Coletta's and Mr. Netto's letters. And they would be the people identified at the top section that they're recommending. So for Fort Kent Elementary, you see Ashley Pelletier and Marie Roy. And for here at CHS, you have Alexandra Banfield, Connie Cloutier, Deidre Collins, Sonia Doucette, Josh Nichols, and Tammy Lee Sutherland. Those individuals are completing their first year, and they're being recommended for a second year. We would entertain a motion to approve those individuals.
Are these individuals, do they all have their certifications?
They all have their certifications. Some of them may have conditional certifications, which is a 3-year, so that means they have 3 years to iron out all the other details, but they are all fully certified.
Yeah. Very good. Do we have a motion to approve?
What comes first, the motion or the questions?
The motion, the second, and then
Or the
discussion.
questions?
Yep.
Okay. So moved.
Moved by Sarah, seconded by Abigail. Discussion?
How does, like, what's the, how do you decide, yeah, we want them to stay another year? Like,
Yeah, so every new administrator is observed twice, has 2 observations from your building administrator. From that, and their observations are based on a growth plan that teacher has put together as part of our evaluation system. If they've met their targets, chances are they're going to be recommended for another year. If they've fallen short, or if there are any other concerns, maybe there's some concerns with relationships with students, they're just not connecting, maybe there's concerns with professionality, that type of thing, then those would be grounds to not renew. It's not typical, it does happen.
and the growth plan is based on the teacher, not necessarily the student's growth within that year? Or is that part of it?
Well, Mr. Coletta, could you explain how the growth plan works?
Sure. We have a system called iObservation, which has 23 elements in it that, I mean, teaching's a very, complex art, if you want to call it that. And so it's kind of breaks the art of teaching into 23, elements, okay? And teachers, would choose one element, and then a district has another element. And usually, the district element, in this case, deals with proficiency-based education, and as Mr. Siwa said, creating good relationships with students and stuff like that. So during their observations, there's a scoring rubric that goes along with that we kind of, and we have a pre-meeting with the teacher before the observation, we have the observation, then we have a post-meeting where we get together with them and, kind of score them on the rubric. And then at the end of the year, we have a final evaluation. So if there's things that don't show up because you're only dealing with a couple of those elements out of 23, but we'll go ahead and also bring up anecdotal types of things that we kind of take note of during the year that say, hey, I really want you to work on this next year. Maybe you should choose this element next year to work on. It's very rare that you'll see a teacher come in, year one and have everything perfect. It's something that takes a good couple years to kind of, develop. And usually, unless something is very wrong, we almost always give them a second year to fix things that, or build upon what they did in their first year.
The plan is also gauged for, depending on what their end of the year rating is, so you have a rating scale. 1 to 4. Let's say they end up with a rating of a 2, we could put them on a more targeted plan the following year, where instead of maybe 2 observations, maybe they're having a 3rd or 4th, or maybe they're having goals that they need to meet within 6 months, or maybe even a month, so that it's more detailed, more targeted, so that we can see improvement. It's a growth, it's all based on growth. It's not supposed to be punitive, and it's supposed to be very collaborative between the administrator and the teacher.
Thank you.
Is there also
It's a good
some,
question.
is there also some peer assessment or input?
There is a
into that
peer,
process?
there is a peer component to that where they are encouraged to have a peer go. It's not evaluative, it's just informative. So can you come and observe me? And that is part of the plan as well.
And if it's not one of those chosen pieces, does the student growth come into it as well? Like,
There
how does
used to
that
be-
fit in?
There used to be a student growth portion of it, and it was called SLO, thank you. But at the new revision of the law allowed for the removal of the SLO piece because depending on what student learning objective a teacher picked, it was either very, very easy to pass that SLO or very, very difficult. And it was also very time consuming as well. So this teacher plan has opted to remove the SLO component. So it is not a factor in it. Unless they choose unless they choose something that is specific to student growth. It's not part of the plan.
Does that review process, John, happen for just the first 2 years, or is it ongoing?
Well, it's the first 2 years, and then at the end of the second year, there's, depending on how they score, they could give them a 3-year plan, a 2-year plan, or a 1-year plan at that point. And generally, if you were gonna give them a 1-year plan, you probably wouldn't rehire that person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it'd be either a 2 or a 3-year plan. And during that time, we mentioned them to go ahead and choose an element that they, that they should work on, and then have some, peer observations during those next 2 years, so they could kind of hone, their skills on that element, and then, the next year we observe on the 3rd year or 2nd year, depending on how many years in the plan.
No, but the ones that have the extended contract, or have been continuing contract or whatever have been around for a while, is there also evaluations, is it a different evaluation system?
It's the same.
It's the same system, but the people that are on what we call a professional contract, after your 2 year,
Right.
There's different elements that we choose, for them, as far as, the administration chooses, compared to a 1st or 2nd year teacher. Often, the 1st and 2nd year teacher, it's a lot dealing with classroom management, for example, and things like that, that's very important if you want to become a good teacher.
So we have a master list, Sarah, of all the teachers in the district, and they're either on, they're on one of the 3-year cycles. So everyone's gonna get observed within the 3-year span. So there's these teachers this year, these teachers next year, these teachers the next year. And then some teachers, like the new ones, it's every year until they become a professional teacher.
For example, I have I think Robbie's about to say, we each have about a third of our staff a year, about 15 teachers we're observing, every year, evaluating.
Good information.
I had another question, but I can't remember.
Shannon has one.
I do. And I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I just want to make sure I really understood. A teacher could be recommended to continue even if the majority of their class didn't make academic growth that year?
Potentially, yes. But bear in mind the growth system that we have in place by Maine law has to be developed by a majority of the teachers, and also has to have union representation in the creation of the.
So technically, yes, but you all have things in place to keep that from happening?
If we have a teacher who has obvious negative growth in their classroom, we're going to steer them towards a plan, elements to deal with that. We can still put a teacher on a targeted plan even without the system, even not being on the system,
Okay,
if you will.
okay.
Just to help those individuals out, because we don't want
But,
that.
Yeah.
that-
but the whole point of the probationary period is to give us greater leeway in
Right.
how we address those situations.
Correct. And we talk about, let's make sure if we're gonna put a ring on the finger, that we're marrying the right person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nicely put. Anybody have any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Very good, unanimous. Item C, to consider approving the superintendent's nominations for continuing contracts and other district professionals to cover 2022-23.
So those would be all the teachers that are beyond their probationary period, and that's the majority of our teachers. We also listed at the bottom of both Mr. Coletta and Mr. Neto's letter, the other professional staff that we are recommending for rehire next year, such as our social workers, guidance counselors, so on and so forth.
Does it matter in the letter that it says 21, 22 and not 22, 23?
Where does it say that?
On the
Yeah,
vice-
like,
on
I
the
caught that
school
as
letter.
well.
I don't think,
For the CHS VRMS,
Oh,
I think that was just a typo.
Yeah.
Well, there was also people on there that are retiring or leaving.
Oh, correct, that's correct.
Yeah. You could remove Donna Pelletier. I think that's the only one.
Ruby.
Oh, Rudy's still coming back next year. Early.
Yep.
Very good, do we have a motion to approve these nominations? Tanya, motion, second? Sarah? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Very good, motion passes. Approve the nominations for continuing contracts and other district professionals for 2022-23.
And just so the new board members understand, what this is asking of you is to allow for us to provide a contract extension. All of your administrator contracts are two-year contracts, so they cover the administrator for the current year we're in and the upcoming year. We do that so that we can budget accordingly and make sure that we're giving professional staff the courtesy to know if they have to look for new employment, not at the last minute, but at least, within a 12-month period. So this recommendation would be to extend their contracts to include not only next school year, but the 23-24 school year as well. And it's broken by two groups. You see the top are your MSAD 27 only administrators or directors, and then at the bottom are the ones that are serving Valley Unified in a Valley Unified capacity. But they are SAD 27 employees.
Just a point of clarification, because those are actually two separate motions, right?
No, you reread item C, and Ben's answering for item D.
Oh, sorry. Item D, yeah, it's to
You're
approve
right.
an administrator contract extension for 1 year. Sorry.
Yep, that's fine. Before we make a motion, I did have a request by Mr. Dave Susi. Had requested that we gather some more information because he was curious as far as the language in these contracts. A lot of times we're asked to approve contracts and, like anything else in your personal life, if you were to enter into a contract, you want to know what's in the language. For the administrators, it had come up at the last meeting, there was some questions, and Dave had requested if we could possibly table this to the next meeting. Apparently, there's some more information he'd like to see from Ben as far as the details on the, I think it's the extension, right? Year 2023 to 24. So, nobody's gonna be looking for a job just yet. We're not, I don't think it's, I don't think what he's trying to do is malicious. It's just a matter of getting some more information about what we're voting on. And out of respect to some of the new board members, I think we're just, maybe ought to look for that information and get that before our next board meeting and table that till June.
Specifically, like what's in a contract?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
Had we talked to Keith last year around this time about, again, about the review process for admin, and does that sound familiar?
and, yeah.
The
Vaguely.
review process?
Like similar to teachers getting reviewed every 3 years?
Same thing for administrators.
Same thing for me.
They're on a 3-year cycle.
Does that ring a bell at all, Keith? No?
Vaguely.
We use actually the same system, so it's eye observation for administrators.
So, this really doesn't, table in this motion doesn't affect anything as far as the budget. We're just gonna be looking at getting some more data before the next meeting, getting it out to the board members, and reviewing this at our next, was it June 20th meeting? So, do we have a
Let me-
motion to table
Let me
this?
just check something
Go ahead.
first, because I may have one that's only at 1 year.
Okay.
I just-
We do have one administrator who's a first-year probationary administrator
Okay.
that would only have a 1-year contract.
Okay.
And that's our new dean of students at the Fork Elementary School.
Sure.
I think in order, in effort to, be fair, perhaps maybe we can offer a 1-year extension to that individual to match the other administrators.
That makes sense.
That would be Mr. Kevin
Yes.
Anderson.
Very good. Do we have a motion to approve an extension of the administrator contract for Mr. Kevin Anderson for 2022-23? Moved by Abigail, seconded by Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Do you need a motion to table the others, or is it just?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
So I'll make a motion to table the approval for the other administrator contracts.
I'll second.
Moved by Shannon, seconded by Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Good. Okay. Do we usually come back here after budget?
We usually adjourn right from there.
Okay. That was it. Almost done. Very good.
Here we go, the budget meeting. Bring your nameplate, please.
Bring your budget books.
discharge to the best of my abilities
the duties incumbent on me as moderator
the duties incumbent on me as moderator
of this meeting,
of this meeting,
according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Maine.
according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Maine.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Just have you sign it there, Barry. Let's move forward.
Yes, see. Article 1. If this is too loud or too soft for people, let me know. I never know in a room this size. To see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for regular instruction. The school board recommends $5,149,265. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Second? Second. Any comments, questions, discussion?
That was 4,146 with 49.
I have $5,149,265.
Your warrants are on page 31 of the budget book.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 2, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for special education. The school board recommends $2,296,735. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Second? Second. Any questions, comments, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 2, please signify. Any opposed? Article 3, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for career and technical education. The school board recommends $0. Do I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, discussion? Seeing none, please signify those in favor. Or any opposed? Article 4, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for other instruction. The school board recommends $334,825. Do I have a motion? I have a motion, a second. Any comments, questions, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 5, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for student and staff support. School board recommends $1,099,520. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. Comments, questions, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 6, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for system administration. The school board recommends $633,175. Do I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussion? See, yes.
The 633,175 doesn't seem to match the number here on this page.
There's two numbers. Go by the ones that we were doing for both of them.
Where are you seeing? Page 23. That summary page has everything. But
Okay.
if you go to the
final page is what's
or
right.
if you go to the individual articles, it will match.
Awesome, thanks.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
They're all set?
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 7, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for school administration. School board recommends $714,835. Do I have a motion? I have a motion. Second? I have a second. Comments? Questions? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 7, please signify. Any opposed? Article 8, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for transportation and buses. School board recommends $655,755. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 9, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for facilities maintenance. School board recommends $1,661,165. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 10, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for debt service and other commitments. School board recommends $0. I have a motion and a second. Comments, questions, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 11, to see what sum the district will be authorized to expend for all other expenditures. School board recommends $0. Do I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 12 and 13 raise funds for the proposed school budget. Article 12, to see what sum the district will appropriate for the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Program and Services Funding Act, and to see what sum the district will raise and assess as each municipality's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, in accordance with the Maine Revised Statutes, Title 20A, Section 15688. Recommended amounts are set forth below. Total appropriated by municipality. Town of Fort Kent, $6,206,469.16, and the town will be assessed to raise $1,824,936.66. Town of New Canada, appropriation is $548,871.42, and the town will raise $194,540. The town of St. Francis will be appropriating $506,650.54, and the town will raise $197,616.66. St. John Plantation will appropriate $317,087.42, and the plantation will raise $155,490. The town of Wallagrass will appropriate $1,037,427.31 and will raise $288,733.34 for the total appropriation of $8,616,505.85, and those communities will raise $2,661,316.66. The district's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12, as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, is the amount of money determined by the state law to be a minimum amount that the district must raise and assess in order to receive the full amount of state dollars. Do I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 12? Any opposed? Article 13, and this question will require a written ballot. to see what sum the district will raise and appropriate in additional local funds, recommended $1,409,955, which exceeds the state's essential program and services allocation model by $1,409,955 as required to fund the budget recommended by the state board. The school board gives the following reasons for exceeding the state's essential programs and services funding model by $1,409,955. The state of Maine's essential programs and services formula does not provide for the actual cost of operating expenses plus full cost of such things as special education, substitute teachers, supplies and equipment, professional development, athletics and co-curricular expenditures, system administration support, increased costs of heating, energy and diesel fuel, operation of plant, and cost of transportation of students over long distances as we have in SAD 27. The EPS formula underestimates inflationary costs and salary ranges that are characteristic of a community or geographical area. Do I have a motion on Article 13? I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussion? There being none, you can pick up your ballots from the clerks on the right side of the hall. The ballot comes with yes or no written on them. You tear off the whichever way you want to vote to put in the box. Thank you, and we'll come back after the votes are counted. Has everyone voted? Okay, the clerks will count the ballots. Okay, I have been told that there was a mistake in the numbers that I read for Article 6, which is expenditures for system administration. So the correct number is, the number I had read and that's on the warrant is $633,175, and the correct number would be $175,000. So I would need a motion to revisit Article 6. I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments on what I've... Okay. If there are no questions or comments, all those in favor of the $653,175 for system administration, please signify. Any opposed? Thank you.
27 yes.
And the results of the voting on Article 13 is 27 yes and no votes, no 0 votes. Article 14 summarizes the proposed school budget. To see what sum the district will authorize the school board to expend for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 and ending June 30, 2023 from the district's contribution to the total cost of funding public education from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 as described in the Essential Programs and Services Funding Act, non-state funded school construction projects, additional local funds for school purposes under the Maine Revised Statutes Title 20A, Section 15690, unexpended balances, tuition receipts, state subsidy, and other receipts for the support of schools. The school board recommends $12,565,275. Do I have a motion? I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, discussion on Article 14? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 15 raises and appropriates funds for the school nutrition program. To see if the district will raise and appropriate $200,042 as the local share for the school nutrition program with authorization to expend any additional incidental or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the school nutrition program. The school board recommends $200,042. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussions on Article 15? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 16 authorizes the continuing education program and raises the local share. Article 16 is to see if the district will appropriate $464,425 for continuing education and raise $280,109 as the local share with authorization to expend any additional incidental or miscellaneous receipts in the interest and for the well-being of the continuing education program. The school board recommends $464,425 and raising $280,109. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussions on Article 16? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 17 authorizes expenditure of grants and other receipts. In addition to amounts approved in the preceding articles, shall the school board be authorized to expend such other sums as may be received from federal or state grants or programs or other sources during the fiscal year for school purposes, provided that such grants, programs, and other sources do not require the expenditure of other funds not previously appropriated. Your school board recommends a yes vote. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, questions, or discussion? If not, all those in favor of Article 17? Any opposed? Article 18 authorizes the creation of a reserve and a transfer to a fuel reserve fund. Shall the school board be authorized to establish a new fuel reserve fund to pay for unanticipated fuel costs, exceeding amounts budgeted for fuel in the Transportation Cost Center and Facilities Maintenance Cost Center, and to transfer up to $50,000 from the ending balance of the school operating fund for the 2021-2022 year to the fuel reserve fund, and to expend from the fuel reserve fund to offset heating and transportation fuel costs that exceeds budgeted amounts. The school board recommends $50,000. I have a motion and a second. Comments, questions, or discussion on Article 18? There being none, all those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Article 19 authorizes the creation of a reserve and a reduction in local tax assessment in the event of an increase in state funding for public schools. In the event that the district receives more state education subsidy than the amount included in its budget, shall the school board be authorized to use all or part of the additional state subsidy to increase the allocation of finances in a reserve fund approved by the school board and or decrease the local cost share expectation as defined in Title 20A, Section 15671, paragraphs A1 and B, for local property taxpayers for funding public education as approved by the school board. The school board recommends a yes vote on Article 19. I have a motion and a second. Comments, questions, or discussion on Article 19? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? The vote on this budget, the ballot will be June 14th at your local town offices. If there's nothing else, I will accept a motion to adjourn. I have a motion and a second. Any comments, discussion? All those in favor, please signify. Any opposed? Thank you very much.